Hello again. Welcome everyone to practical videos for hospitality intelligence and analytic course I developed. Today we are going to focus on one of the foundational testing method called ANB or split testing in marketing analytics. That is going to be followed by extension of ANB testing called ABC testing for some promotional activities. Now, let's start with first, what is the A/B testing, right? So one of the most powerful tools is employed in marketing analytics. Like, for example, if you ever wondered, should I offer a discount or free upgrade? Or will this new ad, new design get more clicks than the old one? So A/B testing is exactly what helps you to answer these questions with data, not just an intuition. Now, A/B testing or split testing is a controlled experiment where we compare two versions of something. It could be marketing campaign, it could be booking page, it could be promotional offer, anything you can think of to see which one performs better. One group gets version A, the original, while another group gets version B, a modified version. By analyzing the results, we can determine which version drives more conversion, engagement, revenue, booking, whatever you are targeting for. In hospitality, we don't just guess that what works, right? So we use data to optimize promotions, improve guest experiences, and maximize revenue. For example, if you send out marketing email, should you offer 20% off or free meal? If you are running an ad campaign, does a last-minute deal message works better than exclusive offer for members? Let's say you tweak your website. Does changing the color of the book now button lead to more reservations? Instead of relying on assumptions, A/B testing allows us to test, measure, and implement the best performing strategies. A/B testing is everywhere in hospitality. It could be employed everywhere, like I was telling earlier, right? When we send the email, some guests, let's say, responds better to book now and save 20%, while other prefers free spot treatment with your stay. So instead of focusing or choosing randomly, we test both and see which one converts better, which one bring more people. Or similarly in the website design, even as something as small as buttons color, placement, or text can impact guest bookings. Also in the promotion and offers, instead of assuming discounts are always better, A/B testing can show if perks like free parking or late checkout bring more value. Now that we understand what A/B testing is, why it is useful, let's break down how we actually set up an experiment. A/B testing isn't just about comparing two things. We need structured approach to ensure our results are valid and actionable. First thing in control group and test group. Now, in any A/B test, we divide our audience into at least two groups. The control group gets no changes. It represents the baseline, is a benchmark. The test groups receives a variation, maybe a different promotion, new price, like I said, we were talking about earlier, redesigned web page, etc. For example, if a hotel wants to test a discount, which I'm going to show in the Excel example, wants to test discounts versus no discount. The control group will see the standard rate while the test group sees the discounted rate, for example. The goal to measure if the discount actually increases booking. So, but there is a catch. This group must be randomly assigned. Let's say if one group has a more high spending guest than the other, the test isn't fair, right? Randomization ensures both groups start out equal. So any differences we see in results come from the test itself, not pre-existing biases. Another thing is the big mistake people make is running tests with too few participants. If only 10 people book a room under each condition, one extra booking in either group can drastically change the results. That's why we need a large enough sample size to ensure findings are reliable. Another key factor is the duration of the test. Running tests for just a few hours won't work, especially in hospitality where demand fluctuates daily. A proper test, depending on the test, runs long enough to capture booking trends. It could be from few days to few months. Like I said, it depends on the outcome, what you want to measure. Finally, the golden rule. Only test one variable at a time. If you change both the discount and the room images, how do you know which factor influenced booking? Keep it simple. Test one thing at a time to get clear results. When we say one thing at a time, changing one thing at a time. And we talk about this in also Excel, example in the Excel. There are also some common mistakes to avoid. I mean, we talk about the necessary conditions, but just to be sure on that. First, avoid biased sampling. Make sure groups are truly random. Also, don't stop your test too early just because you think you set trend. Early fluctuations are normal, and stopping too soon can lead to bad decisions. Finally, always consider outside influences. If a competitor launches a major promotion during your test, your result might be skewed. The same goes for seasonal demand. Running tests during peak travel seasons might not reflect normal booking behavior. I mean, you have to consider many other factors here. So, we set up our A/B test properly, collected our results the way it's supposed to be, is enough results there. And now we are looking at the numbers, we are analyzing them. But here is the big question. Does the difference actually matter? I want to talk about this specifically because as you can see in our example, we're going to talk about the statistical significance. But what is the difference between statistical significance and practical significance? Does the change matter in numbers? So, for example, statistical significance tell us if the difference we see is real or just a random chance. To measure this, we use a p-value. So if it is below 0.05, this is not a strict rule, but we usually accepted rule is 0.05. We say the result is statistically significant. That means there is a less than 5% chance the difference happened randomly. And other important thing is, of course, practical significance, right? The first one is, does the change matter in numbers? Now, does the change matters for businesses? Even if something is statistically significant, it doesn't mean it actually matters for the business. Let's say you run a free breakfast promotion and increases bookings for 0.5%. Sure, the p-value might be significant, but if offering free breakfast costs more than the extra revenue you are making, is it really worth it? Probably not. You are spending time for the promotion, you are spending money for the free breakfast and whatnot. 0.5% increases, like if you have a small property, is nothing. Like if you have a 200 room property, that's mean only additional one room. So practical significance is important. This is why we care about practical significance. Does the change make a real difference in revenue, profit, or customer experience, whatever you want to increase or measure? The key is the balance both. If a change is statistically significant but has no real business impact, it's not worth implementing. If a change makes business sense but isn't statistically significant, we might need more data before acting on it. For example, 5% increase in high-value guest bookings might be more valuable than the 10% increase in low-spending guests. So that's the case where business context matters more than just the numbers. In a basic A/B test, we compare one test group against control group, as we talk about, right? For example, let's say a hotel is testing a discount offer. I'm repeating because that's what I'm going to give in an Excel example. One group sees the regular price while the other sees a promotional price, discount price. At the end of the test, we check if the discounts increase booking. Okay, that's the A/B testing. Basically, you compare two groups. ABC testing is a kind of expanding the experiment. What if we want to test two different promotions instead of just one? For example, instead of only testing discount, we also test free meal offer. Now we have three groups, right? Control group, no promotion, test group one, free meal, that's test group two, discount. This is called ABC test because we are comparing three groups instead of two. So why use ABC instead of multiple A/B tests? Instead of running two separate A/B tests, control versus discount, control versus meal, we test all three groups at the same time. First, we can separate them also, we can use as an A/B test, but at the same time, if we consider all together, this approach has a few key benefits. First, of course, like I said, avoids multiple testing errors. Running separate A/B tests increases the risk of false positives. Also allows direct comparison because you are measuring at the same time and everything is in the randomized. Instead of only seeing if promotions work, we learn which one works best. And also, in this case, of course, we use ANOVA or pairwise t-test or multiple t-tests with the corrections. Since we have three groups, we need a little bit different statistical methods. I'll give some few examples in the Excel practice. Now that we expanded from A/B to ABC testing, let's focus on what really matters. How do we interpret the results, right? Instead of just looking at whatever bookings increase, we need to ask which promotion performed best. Did it actually improve revenue? Are the results reliable? For example, given what we are talking about, there are some of the few key questions you need to ask. The first question is simple. Did either the meal or discount offer lead to more bookings than the control group? To find out, we compare, for example, conversion rates for all three groups. If both promotion increased bookings, great. But is the difference statistically significant or could it be just a random variation? That's we're going to measure. Or we can say if both promotion, when we look at the numbers, promotion increased bookings, the next question could be like which one performed better. Let's say a discount group had more booking than the meal group. Does that automatically mean it's a better choice? Not necessarily, right? Because a meal promotion might attract higher spending guests even if fewer people book. That's why we don't just measure booking numbers. We also need to start to think about the revenue side. Is the winning promotion worth the cost? Like more booking don't always means more profit. For example, a discount might increase booking, but lower overall profit margins. Free meal might make guests happy, but does it cost more than the extra revenue it generates? We need to find a balance between the cost of promotion with the revenue it brings. And once again, we talked before, what kind of external factors are there? Did the promotion run during the peak season, making the results unreliable? Were competitors offering similar discount? Would the same result happen in a different market or season? If your professional opinion, your educated guess is outside factors that play a big role, we might need to run the test again or adjust our analysis. Now, I'm going to talk about more of some example in these questions, but next step is going to go to Excel and do some of the analysis now. Okay, now let's start our Excel example. I'll have a couple example on A/B test, and also we are going to look into ABC test as well. Before we start, let's try to understand what is our data is about. Let us assume that you sent, let me see how many we have here. So about 300 promotion and 300 control. You sent kind of promotional material, right? Like advertisement, let's say, okay? For the 600 people. Out of these 600 people, 300 of them just get the regular material without any special promotion, let's say for a discount room or free meal, and 300 receive the promotion in something, okay, like it could be discount, it could be free meal, it could be free parking, whatever you can think of. So we are trying to understand, because control groups are our regular people we always in contact with. We send our advertisements and etc. We are trying to understand if we offer them something additional. In this case, what we call the promotion creates more booking for us. That's the idea here, as we discuss in the A/B test, trying to understand. So in this case, of course, booked is, if it's 0 is not booked, if it's 1 is booked, and how many nights they stayed, what was the room rate, and what is the money they spend in the food and beverage. Now, before we start, let me put this over here. Now, if you recall from our earlier discussions, what we do is we try to understand the conversion rate. So basically, we send all these things to people, but out of those, how many of them really booked? Okay. Now, in order to do that, we have to let's actually create a conversion table here, so it might make sense a little bit more maybe. Now let's put this offer type. We have a control group and promotion group. Okay. Then we said that, like for example, how many people receive those emails. We already know 300, but in case if you have an issue that how many people, you can also make count okay, like this. Basically what I was saying here is look at there and consider control. That's what we are here, and count how many says control here. Okay, and for here we just pull down, and this time is look at here how many of these. Basically A to A is the whole line here, right? I mean, you can select the whole line here, and how many of them include the whatever is in here, which is the promotion, and is also is 300. Now, next things, of course, we need is the booking, right? How many people booked? Booking. Now, in order to do that, we're gonna do similar approach, but we're gonna get the not instead of count. What we're going to do is we are gonna tell the Excel first. The comment we're gonna use is called sum ifs. Basically, what we are saying to Excel is first look at the sum range. What is the sum range? Is the B, right? Basically, sum range in the B in this here in the booked area. Looking at the what? To AA, basically criteria 1. For what? If it says control on it. Basically what we are saying to Excel is, when I write this, look at the booked, count ones, okay, add all the ones together if it has a control in it, okay? If you do this, it's basically out of 300 people, 69 in the control group means booked in our property, okay? Now, of course, we can do the same thing for the G3, which is the promotion. And it also gives the same thing. So how do we let's put the conversion rate here. Conversion rate. So how do we measure the conversion rate? As it shows here, we got the total booking, which is this, divided to what? Total users. Basically, we sent the 300 people, right? And we do the same thing. We do the same thing here. Now, to make it look like nicer, as percentage with 2%. Now, so what does it says to us when we look at this? We can basically, I mean, it's not very complex right now, but just looking at this, based on this table, we can have a few key insights, right? For example, control group has 23% of users booked the stay. Out of discount group, 33 point almost 33.7% users booked the stay. So we can easily say promotional offer increased the conversion rate by 10.67%, right? 23 to 33.67. Of course, this indicates that whatever the promotion is, effective in driving more bookings. And we can also use a percentage increase in booking. And in order to do that, and actually let's do this here. What we can do is, we says that how many booking in promotion, how many booking in promotion, okay, minus how many booking in the control group, divided to what? Divided the booking. And if we turn this into percentages, now we can say that this promotion we ran increased the number of booking about 46%. Okay, so conversion rate has increased basically 46%. So from the business perspective, the higher conversion rate suggests that price sensitivity plays an important role in customers' decision. However, that's an important. We do not yet know if this increase in booking translates to higher revenue and or profitability. So next step is going to be analyze whether the guests in these groups stay longer, pay lower room rates, spend more or less on food and beverage, etc. There are many other different questions we can do. But before we do this, what I want to do is I want to see if the offer type significantly impacts the booking rate. Okay, so how do we know if this is not a chance, this is just randomly happening, but is it statistically significant? Okay, in order to do that, when giving the time, I have a pre-made something here. I'm gonna copy, then explain it to you. Give me a second. You need to get the reference, and of course we need to get the reference here as well. I thought it's going to copy pasting is going to make easier, but it seems giving a little bit more headache. But anyway, we need to understand how the chi-square test works, right? In order to do this, there are several things you have to do. First, we create a table, offer type, and we look at the booked ones. So basically what we are saying the Excel is how many people booked in the similar to here in control group, how many people did in promotional group, and what is the total number. So out of 600 people, 170 of them is booked basically. So 101 was offering some kind of promotion, and others in the control group. We also measure to not booked group. Not booked group is simple, right? If you send the 300 people, if 69 is booked, 300 minus 69 is 231. We also calculate the total. We got the total users as well. Now, this in chi-square, these things get a little bit tricky, but it's not very hard. We need to also calculate the expected values. Okay, expected values is basically, this is the formula here. You do row total. Okay, so what is the row total here? here, right? That's the row, that's the total. And we got the column total, right? J6 and the H8, and divided by the grand total, which is the 600. We do the same thing. I mean, my assumption is you already have this kind of things in your statistics course, but we are just, going over again. So basically, you multiply the row total and column total, okay? Then you divide the grand total, which is the total numbers of users. In this case, is 600 for this part, okay? And you do the same with the booked one and also the not booked one. Now, then, in order to calculate to chi-square, what you do is there is a test called. By the way, there is also a way to manually calculate this, but I don't recommend it. It is better to if you just use the test we are using here, chi-square test. So use the chi-square test and H60I7, which is the original outcome. Okay, what basically observed values, that's we call. Okay, then comma the expected values we calculate, and when you hit is give you some value. Now, what is exactly this means? Chi-square is actually simple. If this is what we call the p-value. Do you remember I was telling you if it's 0.05 and lower is a significant, statistically significant. So if this value is less than 0.05, which means is the conversion rates is statistically significant. Okay. If it's more than that, it's not statistically significant. Then we have to be careful and when we interpreting this. Now, conclusion from this, all those things we did. Promotional offer had a statistically significant effect on conversion rate, and this promotion as at least for booking. Let's not forget, we are not talking about the revenue, we are not talking about other costs and other issues, but for the sake of just booking, promotion brings a statistically significant increase in our booking. So that's what that means. Now, what else we can ask? By the way, I mean, you can ask many different questions, okay? What is the conversion rate we calculated? For example, is there a significant difference in average night stayed between the two offer types? Okay, so basically what we are trying to find out is, okay, that's good, we have two offer types, but does it really affect the nights they stayed? Okay, we can do this. The reason I am also doing this because I want to also show you how to do t-test. Okay, let's do this A-B-T, so the t-test. Now, in order to calculate the A-B-T test, first we need only the booked ones. In order to have the booked ones, what we need to do? Basic, right? We just come here, we do filter. So we are saying the Excel, I want only the one, I want to select only the booked ones. Okay, so booked ones are the ones. So we come here, copy, come here and paste. Now, the reason we do this because we want to do the people average night stayed between two offer types, right? So booked 0 is basically they didn't stay they stay 0 nights basically, so it doesn't really interest to us. So in order to do this, actually we don't need this information as well. We need what we can do is we don't need this as well, because the reason we don't need, because everything is one, all of them is booked. What we can do is, first of all, let's remember the question: is there a significant difference in average night stayed between the two offer types? Okay, so how are we gonna do this? equal sign, we started with the t dot test. You see this here, t test. Okay, so how we gonna do this t test? What we are trying to say is, I want you to look at, okay, in two sessions. Actually, I'm going to show you another way too, but let me explain this one first. What we are going to do is, first we're going to select the promotion one. Okay, promotion. Now we selected the promotion one. Okay, no, of course not. And comma, now we are comparing promotion to what? Promotion to control group. Okay, then I'm not going to get into too much in the detail because of the this is more of a statistics subject, but we need the two-tail test. Okay, and also we assume equal variance. These are required to calculate this. When we hit that, see, this is the result. Do you remember what I was telling you? Is if it's less than 0.05 is significant. If it's not, is not significant. So, looking at this value, we can say that the difference in night state is statistically not significant, meaning guest stays for a similar number of nights regardless of the offer type. Now let's go to ABC test. Now, once again, there are many different tests we can run an A/B test, but for the giving time, I'm trying to give you a few examples from each different approaches, so you might have some ideas. Let's look at the ABC test, okay? Similar to earlier, at this time, we have total of 900 results, 300 each. Once again, 300 in the control group. 300 of them had a discount rate of 5% in the room rate, okay? And 300 people received free breakfast promotion. So basically, they got three different promotions. One group didn't get any promotions, any kind of discount or free meal. 300 people got 5% discount on the room rate. And also, 300 people got the free breakfast. Before we start, let's calculate a few things here, and also it's going to be exercise for you. Like, for example, room revenue. Okay. What else we can do? Total revenue. We can do maybe breakfast cost. Right. Okay. Now, let's do this. First, if you recall, let's not forget this. This is just an assumption, of course. You can do any way you want, but free breakfast costs about $10 and discount on room rate is about 5%. So that's what we are offering the people. Okay. So how are we going to calculate the room revenue? Room revenue is, what we can do is, there are many different ways, but what we're going to do is, if, okay, this value is discount. Okay, I'll explain this in a second. Take the room rate, multiply by how many nights night they stayed, times 0.95. If not, take the room night again, multiply by night stayed. Now, I'm going to explain this in a second. Let's do this first. Now, what we did here is, I tell the Excel, look at the B, which here, okay? If you see word discount there, take the regular room revenues calculated by room rate times night stayed, right? Room rate times how many nights you stayed. Room rate times night stayed, but got 5% discount because do you remember discount was 5%, comma, if not, take the regular, just calculate room rate times night stayed. That's what I said here. Okay. Now for total revenue is simple. You just got the room revenue plus food and beverage revenue. So I don't know if we're gonna use this, but just in case, let me calculate, and you can have some ideas. What about the breakfast cost? So okay, if this one equal, so what was it? Free breakfast, right? If there is a word on offer type, the free breakfast, what I want you to do is take the night stayed, because for the $10 in each day. By the way, is $10 is like a buffet type breakfast, and I know because it depends on how many people in the room, 2 people versus 5 people, etc. But this is a kind of basic example, so we are just using as a room. Each room costs about $10 to make the calculation a little bit simpler. So room in each room, how many night they stays time $10. Okay, and if not, if not, I cannot see. Okay, if not, what you do is okay. Let's see. Now, basically, what we tell here is, if you see the free breakfast, you multiply. If you see free breakfast here, you multiply night stay by $10, and if it not, put it 0. If you come here all the way, then you're gonna start to see if it's free breakfast, and if they stay, you will see the cost of the breakfast calculated automatically. Now. What can we do with this? There are many things we can do. Actually, let's do first thing. Let's do the conversion rates. Okay, I'm gonna use a little bit different instead of calculating one by one. What am I going to do is I'm just gonna go. Let's come here. Insert pivot. Okay. Where? Everywhere. Use it everywhere. Okay. Now, what do you want to do, right? So, what is the point we are trying to do? We are trying to do the conversion rate. So, in order to do the conversion rate, what we need to do is we need to get offer type, right? Then we need to get sum of booked. Basically, how many people are booked? Okay. Let's do this. Give me a second. I'm sorry. Booked. Now, it's calculated the booked, but we also want to know total numbers. But instead of sum, we need to count. Okay, excellent. Do we need anything else here for the conversion rate? Not really. Just to make you remember, let me bring this here again. Let me see. Okay. Now, by the way, we don't, because of we are selecting the whole rows instead of going one by one. We are selecting from top. That's why it's the blanks there. We don't need that. Now, this is the similar to what we did before, right? Very simple. But how we were going to calculate the conversion rate? Sum of booked divided to how many people? Same thing. And finally, for the breakfast, divided by 300. Just let's make it a little bit nicer. Let's make, actually we can also see the total as well, and just, I mean, we don't really need it, but let's do it. Let's select them and turn them into percentages. Now, according to this, out of 900 people we sent this, 69 people from control group booked. Discount people are the highest ones, 101, and free breakfast is 79, so 23, 33, and 26%. So next thing is, once again, we need to understand to see if this really works. Basically, what we want to do is, do we really want to, we want to be sure that these results are statistically significant. So once again, I'm just going to make this, in order to do simpler, I'm just going to copy paste from my earlier work to make it faster. And also, if you recall, this is how it's been calculated. By the way, actually, some people asked me before, just in case if you are wondering how to calculate chi-square separately, this is the formula. So you get the observed one, this is the observed ones, okay? You minus the expected one, these are the expected ones, and got the square root of it and divided by the expected one, and you also add them. You got the sum of those. Now, but let's look at quickly what we have here. Once again, we already did these calculations, but what we are doing is here, we are telling to Excel, look at here, if you see the control, add how many ones there. That's what it does. The same thing, if you look at here, offer types, how many discount, calculate, everything is calculated, okay? And this is basically total minus booked one. For the expected values is the similar. We are using here row total times column total divided by the grand total. We already calculate that. And here we use the chi-square test. The first one is the observed values. The second part is the expected values. And chi-square result shows. So what does that means? Okay, if you look at this table and overall, first thing is control group, basically no promotion group, has 23% recipients booked. Discount group with the 5% off is got 33.67% of recipients. Free breakfast group is 26.33. This is a statistically significant result. As you can see, this result is less than 0.05. This is 0.01, right? So differences in conversion rates are statistically significant, meaning the type of offer affects booking likelihood, and results are not due to random chance. But what does that mean by the business implication? Discounts are the most effective at driving bookings. So 5% discount significantly increased conversions compared to no promotion. And if the goal is to maximize occupancy, this might be the best short-term strategy. However, discounts reduce room revenue per booking. Actually, let me do a few more calculations here. Give me a second. I'm gonna come back here, but let's calculate few more things. Give me a second. Let's insert another pivot here. Once again, considering everything. Okay, so what do we want to have here? What do you want here? I am interested in the first of all, of course, based on the offer type, I am interested in average of, for example, room revenue. Okay, and average of food and beverage revenue, and also the total revenue. Now, of course, as you can see, these are the sums, automatically adds that. What you need to do is you got the averages for each. However, now I want you to be careful with this. These are the values actually for the everything, because there are some room rates automatically assigned in our paper, so it's not very, like I said, these room rates are assumably in the day of the time, but they didn't book anything, right? So that room rate is for that day is actually should be 0, but because it's been assigned, what we need to do is we take the booked and put on the filters. Okay, so if we come here, you see actually we need to get space here, but anyway, the booked, we just select the ones. So we right now we know, make it clear up a little bit, number with, we don't even need a digit because of dollar value. So these are the sum of the numbers. Actually, let's also add sums, right, to total revenues and everything. So instead of just an average, let's do that too. Give me a second. Pivot once again, everything, and offer type for a row. What was it? Room revenue, food and beverage revenue, and total revenue. And I want only booked ones. So we select one, and also we do the same thing. These are number, no need for digits. Okay, now if you look at this, what we can do about this now, there are many things we can talk. First of all, we talked about that 5% discount increased the conversion, right, compared to no promotion. Like I said, if the goal is the maximizing the occupancy, yeah, it's a good idea. But we still need to analyze total revenue, like per guest, room and food and beverage, to determine if the discount actually increases profitability. Actually, let's do this. Before we do this, I want to be sure that these results are statistically significant. Okay, in order to do that, let's do this. First, let's get the booked ones only, because that's what we are going to need it. Filter. Okay. I don't know if you're gonna use all, but just in case, I'm just gonna copy paste everything. If you don't need it, we can delete. Copy. Let's look. Okay, in order to do ANOVA, I mean, as I said, there's Excel is not really a statistical program, right? So I mean, you need to make some arrangement to do some tests. So goal of ANOVA, which is we are going to use one-way ANOVA to test whether at least one group's mean revenue, in this case is we are talking about the food and beverage, is significantly different from others. That's the reason we are doing this. In order to do this, let's do this first. Control F and V. This discount F and B, and free breakfast F and B. And look at this example, and please be sure to do these examples for like room revenue and total room revenue as well. Now, how are we going to get transfer the only control values? Actually, there is several ways to do it, but one of them is the easiest one to me, at least, is the filter. Now, when we say the filter, we are saying the filter, okay, get this value, okay, and look here if you see control, transfer it. Okay, so let's look at it again. Look at these values. Consider this. If there is a control here, transfer it here. So we're gonna do the same thing. Of course, instead of control, we are going to use, what was it? Discount. Okay. And do the same for free breakfast. Okay. Now, the way we have to do in Excel is basically to do ANOVA. We have to do control, discount, and breakfast values next to each other. Then we go to, oops, what happened? Data. We go to data analysis. We got the single ANOVA single factor. Okay. What we do is basically, because I did it before, select this total area. Okay. Label in the first row, output range is there, okay, and you will see all the values here. Now, I don't want to get into detail on the other information, but the important thing is here for you is this, p-value. Do you remember we said that the p-value needs to be less than 0.05? When you look at this value, don't confuse, there is a e minus negative to the 10, which means after the comma there is 9 more zeros. Basically this is like 0.000000 etc. 3. So it is much lower than 0.05. So what does that mean? Let's talk about some of the things. By the way, I'm going to talk about the things right now because I already did, some of the other calculations and F statistics or ANOVA findings for other values, etc. So if you can, please stop here, do all your other the room revenue and the total revenue for by yourself. Then we can talk about it. And because of the time issue, we are not even talking about the cost and other stuff. But overall, at least, it gives you some idea, some of the basic calculations methods we do in this kind of things. Okay, so my calculations shows, stop here, do calculations and come back. Okay, so my results shows that first thing is the room revenue. Room revenue was not significant. So what does that mean? The different promotions do not lead a statistically significant difference in room revenue per guest. Okay, so this suggests that not the per guest, the total room revenue. This suggests that offering a discount or free breakfast does not significantly impact the amount they spend on the room. Okay, that's then important, right? So the hotel should reconsider if room rate discounts are necessary, as they do not increase room revenue if you are focusing on room. Food and beverage revenue is highly significant. There is a very strong statistical difference in food and beverage spending across the promotion groups. I mean, if you look at here, discount is 12,000, control is 7,800, free breakfast is 5,000. Now, this statistically significant result means that there are certain promotions lead to higher food and beverage spending. Let's not forget, I show only ANOVA. Normally, we have to follow up these things with the comparative, like paired-wise t-test, etc., to see like control versus discount, control versus free breakfast, discount versus free breakfast, etc., to see that there are differences between the different promotions. But in the ANOVA, it basically says at least one of them is different. There are difference in statistically significant difference at least in one of the outcome. But normally we need to go in much more detail. But like I said, because I don't want to make several hours long videos, I'm trying to show some basic calculations so you have some ideas on how to do. So if the goal is to increase the food and beverage revenue, promotion could focus on maybe food packages or discounts that encourage dining speed, because it shows that the discounts actually people with the discount spends more money. Total revenue is also a significant result, which suggests that at least one promotion strategy contributes to higher overall revenue. You can focus on, as a hotel, you can focus on to analyze which specific promotion leads to highest total revenue and maybe prioritize that strategy. I'm just going to talk about a little bit about what kind of things we might say to our executives just for this basic results. You need to offer free breakfast, for example, if you want to enhance guest experience and loyalty. Okay, so usually guests may appreciate value-added services like free breakfast, leading to better reviews and return visits. And also travelers staying multiple nights or with children may be drawn to free breakfast as a cost-saving measures. Since room revenue remains unaffected, unlike discounts, this can help maintain pricing integrity if you want the occupancy rate without the discounting room rates. Okay. However, you need to be cautious because free breakfast significantly reduces food and beverage revenue. Guests spend less on hotel dining, and hotel revenue per guest is the lowest among all groups as well. If you look at here, for example, you can see that people are spending much less money. Also, this works best if the hotels have a very low variable cost for breakfast. Like, for example, buffet with the sunk cost, which that was my assumption in this. So high-end hotels looking to improve guest satisfaction and attract families or corporate travelers who value perks or discounts might prefer this kind of things. There are many things we can talk about, but I'm just going to talk a little bit about if you want to, like, for example, if you want to offer discounts, if you want to maximize booking and occupancy, right? Discounts less the high conversion rate. We already seen that, meaning more guests booked. Some guests prioritize cost over perks, and discounts provide a strong incentive to book. Also, these guests who saved on room rates spend more on F&B, according to our result, possibly on extra meals, drinks, or whatever they are spending on. However, you need to be cautious because reduces room revenue per guest directly impact ADR, right? Might condition customers to wait for discount, which is very harder to maintain premium pricing. And also best is for low demand periods or maybe the boost last minute bookings. So these are best for hotels aiming to increase occupancy during like shoulder seasons, last minute booking or targeting leisure travelers who are price sensitive. We didn't talk about this, but we send this randomly, right? If we are sending, which is the other topic in this marketing analytics chapter, if we do the segmentation correctly, we can find the people who are price sensitive, then we can send this price discount to them, not the other people, right? So this is another issue you need to think about as well. Finally, we can say that if you can use discount and increase occupancy quickly, but we have to ensure that food and beverage and other services compensate for that 5% revenue loss. You can use free breakfast if the goal is guest experience, long stay retention, or brand differentiation, but we need to consider F&B cost is low. And also, you need to stick with no promotion when demand is high or if total revenue maximization per guest is the top priority. It depends on your strategy, your what do you want, basically. Okay, we can also talk about more like seasonal strategies. If there's a peak season, what should you do? If there's a shoulder season, if there's a low season, because all require different approach. Also, once again, guest segment specific strategies are important, right? If it's the price sensitive travelers, best offer is going to be discount promotion. If the business travelers, maybe best offer no discount, but focus on the convenience perks, free breakfast, prior to check-in, late checkout, whatnot. Also, if there is a families group travelers, usually they focus on the free breakfast, family friendly packages. If the luxury experience, no discount, but experiential add-ons. We are not here, but the idea is here. You have to understand your people your guest segmentation, so you can focus on some of the things we are talking here and specific to those kind of people. So I hope it helped a little bit. We're gonna do another video hopefully, and if you have any questions, please get in touch with me. Thank you.